All right, we're back with the Monday Night Wars. This is week 24. This was the 150th episode in Raw's history. The 149th Raw took place last week, and I didn't review it because Nitro wasn't on at the same time, and I'm only reviewing the wars when they competed against each other, so I didn't count that in towards the week of a war. Raw went on, and I'll tell you what you missed. It was a 3.6 in the ratings. That was the highest rated Raw in history when Nitro wasn't on. Easy to understand that. Shawn Michaels defeated the 1-2-3 Kid. Justin Hawk Bradshaw defeated Hakushi at 4:13, and Bret the Hitman Hart defeated Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Also, this edition saw the announcement of the return of the Ultimate Warrior. So that Raw's done. Now we're going back to the wars, and this is the 24th time Raw went up against Nitro. This is now the 150th Raw we're going to look at. It went live from the on the USA Network from San Antonio, Texas, March 11th, 1996. The ratings for this Raw were 2.9. Nitro scored a 3.2, so a 0.3 loss for Raw, and that means in 24 weeks of the wars, this is the 24th week. There wasn't this is technically the 26th or 7th week, but it's the week 24 where they actually go up against each other because Nitros have missed time, Raws have missed time, just like Raw last week. I just said Nitro missed time. So this is through 24 weeks. The scoreboard is 10 wins for Raw, 12 wins for Nitro, and 2 draws. So it's very close all time. And even the show's rating on this night was very close. Got 2.9 again to Nitro's 3.2. So the 2.9 Raw from San Antonio, Texas was brought to you by Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon. Vince welcomes us to the home of Shawn Michaels. He's extra pumped up in his voice because Raw is live this week. It's not a taped Raw, and obviously the 3.6 rating he got the week before, his highest rating ever, so he's probably pumped with that. And it's also WrestleMania season, so there's a lot of reasons for McMahon to be extra excited. Opening up Raw, we got Savio Vega versus Steve Austin. McMahon calls the ringmaster Stone Cold for sure. This is the first week he goes by Stone Cold Steve Austin in commentary. Savio Vega McMahon, the week before, McMahon talked about how he's Stone Cold, but he never called him Stone Cold Steve Austin. This week he called him Stone Cold Steve Austin, but still referred to him as the ringmaster at times. Or just Steve Austin. Austin and Vega have this great chemistry together in the undercard in 1996. Just like Austin and Mero, they both provided a few good matches on Raw and pay-per-views. Mind-boggling how Austin, when he went to work with Savio Vega, he looked at the crowd, and just to see the crowd just sitting down like this. Not like blowing their, just losing their mind, blowing their mind. But it's just amazing because it's Austin. But you know that Austin at this point was just Austin. So, not the Austin we know, but just the ringmaster. So that's why they didn't get a reaction, but it's just amazing seeing it. Austin with a snapshot vertical suplex, still known as a technician in the ring. Austin with a knee to the midsection of Vega. Savio Vega chopped back at him. We went to a commercial, and then we come back as Austin clotheslines Savio Vega, taking him over the ropes. Stone Cold lays Vega out with a top rope lariat, and he brawls with Vega in the corner. He hits back with a hard chop. Austin separates his leg on the ropes and then hits a drop toe hold on Savio Vega before a front face lock. Austin then brawled with Savio Vega, and he came up the rope with a hip toss. Austin Irish whip to the other buckle, and a high kick takes Austin all the way from the corner of the ring to the floor, and then they brawl when they're on the floor. Both guys battle up to the apron, but they continue brawling, but they don't get into the ring in time, so it goes to a double countout at the 7-minute mark. They still go at it after the match, and both guys would later meet at WrestleMania. No special move for Savio Vega until after the bell rang, and then he hit a spinning heel kick. Austin never hit the stunner or $1 million dream in this match. It's a good little match, though. I rated it 2 stars and 3/4. Definitely the best match of the night, and one of the best Raw matches in recent memory, actually. Mark Henry, because these are the Raws that just have 3 or so matches, most of them jobber matches, or at least half of them. Maybe this time they're getting less jobber matches because they want to establish stars, sure, but they are competing with Nitro, who was having star versus star, so McMahon did the same. Both WWF and WCW, they had olive branches with each other. They both took ideas from the other, and they ran with it, and that's what made the Monday Night Wars so compelling. Mark Henry made his debut appearance in the WWF, showing that he slammed the King earlier in the night. McMahon says there's a tag team tournament going on, and Sonny and her body Adonis will take on Luke and Butch in the tournament. They're on Superstars. Roddy Piper is scheduled to come out next, but here comes Goldust and Marlena. McMahon separates the two in the ring. Piper says, "What is your malfunction, you fruitcake?" I know I don't sound like Piper, but Piper said that. And then Piper said he looks like a transvestite, and he must be real proud of himself because he's after attention, and these mind games aren't fooling Piper for a second, because Piper dealt with Adrian Adonis and all the other things, Piper says. Piper says, "I don't know what your sexual orientation is, but I'm a lesbian." Piper says, "Not even Freddy Krueger could come into my nightmares." Goldust says, "I know those Hollywood films you are in, big boy. I'm here to bring you down," he says. I know I don't sound like Goldust either, thankfully. He says he goes down on his knees, and then he goes behind Piper and says, "I do my best work in the back lot." And then Marlena is caught laughing when he says that. And then he lifts up Piper's skirt and says, he says, "We should go to the back lot." And Piper lays out Goldust right after this, and the fans cheer. And McMahon got on the microphone, "That's Roddy Piper." That's what he said it like that. A lot louder, too, in more of McMahon's voice. Henry Godwin and Phineas Godwin take on Jerry Meade and Alex Porto. I'd hate to see what Nitro was putting on it. This actually, I know what Nitro put on with this because I just reviewed it. This would be during the Steiner Brothers and Nasty Boys, I believe. But yeah, so what are you going to watch? That or the Phineas Godwin and Henry Godwin taking on Jerry Meade and Alex Porto? Thankfully, this match was just kept under 2 minutes. The Godwins win. Phineas did all these weird movements in the ring, too, like cartwheels, half cartwheels. Then they show HBK and Brett training for the upcoming Iron Man match. They have great training videos. Brett with his dad in the dungeon, running in Calgary's winter ice cold. They show Sean with Jose Lothario. They show Sean's all of his exercising and running up the stairs at football stadium. Great stuff there. Hunter Hearst Helmsley then takes on Vin Greer. Vin Greer having his problems with Triple H, McMahon says. I should think so. He's Vin Greer. Helmsley kissed Michelle Stickler, who is a good-looking blonde valet. That's what he said her name was. McMahon lets it go to Triple H. McMahon lets it out that Triple H will take on the Warrior Mania. Hunter probably thought that was a great idea at the time. Hunter drops his knee on Vin Greer. Triple H then pedigrees Vin Greer and gets the victory in a minute and 52 seconds. The King tries to talk to his valet, which was funny. I rated it a half a star. Then they show Scheme Gene showing that the Huckster will take on the Nacho Man at WrestleMania, and they do training videos with them, but they're geriatric training, and they're in oxygen masks, and funny stuff. Funny stuff by McMahon to try and get back at Bischoff for all the shots, all the results Bischoff's been giving out. But this Raw's live, so he couldn't do it this week. Undertaker with Paul Bearer and Yokozuna versus Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith in the main event. Yokozuna's a babyface now out of Camp Cornette, but now he's a face teaming with The Undertaker. Yoko took care of the Bulldog. Taker threw around Owen, but then Diesel comes to the ring looking for The Undertaker, who was wrestling Owen Hart at the time. Diesel just clotheslines Paul Bearer on the outside and dropped him with right hands. Diesel walks to the back, and then The Undertaker eventually figures out that Diesel pummeled Bear, because he sees Bear down, and then he sees Diesel walking to the back, so Undertaker goes after him angrily, and the fans cheer. Owen and the Bulldog, meanwhile, double team Yokozuna, and then out comes Vader with his black shirt again. McMahon really wanted to hide any flab, I believe. They did this with Taz, too. Ahmed Johnson then takes on the Bulldog. He came out of nowhere. Vader then hammered on Ahmed. Jake the Snake comes to the ring. There's a bunch of brawling to lead to that opening six-man tag at WrestleMania with Jake the Snake and Camp Cornette. At 5-9, Taker and Yoko win by DQ. I rated it a star, but the officials break them apart. To end the show, we had the Vader, Bulldog, and Owen against Jake, Yoko, and Ahmed brawling. I rated this episode a 5.5 out of 10 because it had great Mania build. Every match built to Mania, and even if we saw little in terms of wrestling skill outside Austin and Savio Vega, they did a good job at building towards pay-per-views, which they didn't really do at this time. They didn't do a good job of it. But this was WrestleMania, so they should have. And they did. They did a lot better building to this pay-per-view, I felt. So I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. And again, Raw scored a 2.9 in the ratings to Nitro's 3.2. So that's it for the 24th week. We'll see you next week here at the 25th week for Raw Review. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.